Okay, going to start Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, as I know you guys saw.
What do you think attributed most to Kevin making this change?
Oh, you'd have to ask Kev. I mean, we're 1-3.
We are -6 in the NFL. We're 32nd in turnover margin.
I'm pretty sure that's what everybody's looking for, is that spark.
I'd rather be uninformed than misinformed.
He runs the offense like this is his offense.
Block better, catch better, run better, all of the above.
If you're looking for obstacles and excuses, you're probably going to find them.
We're a fun team to follow, I'll say that.
I was a starter, I've been a backup now, I've kind of was a starter, then lost my job. I've kind of seen it all.
You know, he actually has a history of turning the ball over a lot.
He does take sacks because he does hold on to the ball.
Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that.
Cleveland's a great place. It's a lot like Miami, if you ever heard of Miami. It's like Miami, so maybe y'all come visit.
You know, the only one that matters is the next one.
I'll let Kevin talk about injuries. That's really not my thing. Nice try, though.
Yeah, they killed me to keep me from being on the field, pretty much.
Browns are over there. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I don't know where they came up with that name, but it always sounds cool, a little funky. They're taking on the Vikings. This is considered a home game for the Browns. So that'll get them, I guess, a nicer locker room, and they get to pick whatever jerseys they want. But that's just, that's what you get. You lose a home game here, you're going over the pond, and they got a game against the Vikings, and it is really early for Tailgate. But here we are, Mark Schwab, Reggie Langhorn, Ashley Holder joining us this week.
Welcome.
For Josh Cribbs.
Thank you. I've never seen it this early before.
No,
not in the studio. That's
this is
sure.
the coffee talk version of Tailgate.
The early bird gets the worm.
All right, guys, obviously the big news of the week. It's been discussed, and we will continue to discuss it on this show. The quarterback change. Dylan Gabriel getting the nod. He is the 41st Browns starting quarterback since 1999. Reg, what did you think?
Well, it's about time. Something had to give. I mean, unfortunately, Joe just has not played good football. You need a spark on his team. And if you drafted those young kids, you got to find out whether or not they're going to be able to play down the road. Now, I always feel sad for the guys that have a lot of age, that are losing games, and their time is going to expire. But this is what we're faced with. We hope this kid can come out, play, get the ball out of his hands quick, make some plays, let some other guys help him out, receivers catch and make yards after catch, and maybe we can get a win because, Minnesota's pretty hurt on their offensive line, and we had one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL.
Ash, you were out there this week. I mean, you were there on Wednesday before they left. They're saying all the right things. They're excited about their kid. Of course, they're not going to come out and sound not excited, but they want to know what they got here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Reggie, right? They need to find a new spark. They need something to work for them. But I'm curious to see if it's going to be Dylan Gabriel, right? Because I was talking about this to Mark on our podcast, Off the Leash, not too long ago, and I said, the pieces are still around him are still the same, though. Jerry is still dropping balls. Things are still happening. I don't think that changes all that. But, yes, you do need someone new at the helm, and you need to figure that out, and maybe that gives you that spark that you need. The one thing about Dylan that I appreciate about him is he has been able to take so much of, trying to deal with his first NFL start, going over the pond when he's making this start, but so much of the attention has not been on Dylan. Everything is about Flacco, then it's Shador, and then we saw what Shador did in the locker room when I asked him those questions when he started miming and things like that. Dylan finds a way to stay really locked and loaded and just down to earth, and I think that that's going to be big for him because he has so many things going on outside around him that, he knows he kind of has to put up or shut up, right? Because the Haslam said they want to see what these young guys can do.
And you got to know that he's been preparing for this for a while. He had to see these games that Joe was playing. He knew his time was coming. He just didn't know when. And this releases a little bit of pressure on him from not playing at home or having the opportunity of looking bad at home. He's away from everything else. He's away from all the issues, the family and all that, and he can just perform. And the thing is, and yes, he does have all of the same pieces around him, but sooner or later, as professionals, they've got to tighten up, help the young kid out. But he is one of those guys that's played in as many college football games as any college player. 6 years, 3 different universities. He's seen a lot of plays. And I like the idea that a guy who's seen that many defenses has an opportunity to create opportunity and a winning product for his football team. It is what it is. I mean, we're not playing good football. What else are we going to do? Put Joe back out there? Absolutely not.
You know, I want to go back to something Josh said last week on this show. He actually made 2 statements that were very predicative, and he was right on both. We'll get to the next one in the next segment. But the first one, he was talking about Gabriel playing, and he said, I think they need to play him just because he actually might be the better option. And I'm going to frame that this way. There's 2 reasons to sit the veteran and go to the kid. The one reason to sit the veteran is just the team stinks. The veteran, in this case Flacco, has been okay, but it's time to just go and see what.
No, he hasn't.
That's the thing. No, he's been bad.
Yes.
2 touchdowns to 4 picks, and it should be 1 in 5. The last touchdown he threw was in the Baltimore game where it clanged off a defender's hands and went right to Tillman for a touchdown. He hasn't thrown a legit touchdown pass since the opener against the Bengals. This isn't a he's okay, but let's see what we have. He's been bad. You got to see if this kid might just be better.
I mean, this is why you brought him here. He's a 3rd-round pick. He's not somebody that was taunted to be a number 1 pick. But if he can play football, he can play football. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that are in lower draft picks that have an opportunity to play in this league. He's not, or does he have to be a first-round draft pick to all of a sudden step in? He gets the ball out of his hand quick. He kind of understands what he's doing. He seems like he's mature enough to be able to lead this team down the field. I mean, the thing for me is make first downs. Move the ball down the field.
chains.
Don't worry about scoring. Just move the ball down the field, get sustained drives, and give the defense a chance. And if we can get some turnovers today, maybe it helps them out.
Stay ahead, win first down. We are just getting going. Tailgate off and running as the Browns. Look at that. It's Abbey Road. Hey, they got one of those cool buses there. Stick around.
Cleveland Browns pub in London. How cool is this? This makes me proud. Cleveland Browns in London. The sun is shining. Look at this. Look at the effort they've gone to. How good is this? a Cleveland Browns pub in London. We've got brown stuff here, we've got brown stuff here, Cleveland Brown stuff here. Living the dream.
Now, Bench Strength, sponsored by Wayside Furniture.
How about that? A Browns pub over there. Browns fans are everywhere. Okay,
Yes.
so I mentioned something Josh said, and I said the second thing he said. We're going to get into it. Remember last week, Reg? He said they need to trade for some linemen. And I remember thinking, it's like September, because it was at the time. Who you get? Well, they got a guy. Cam Robinson, he's okay. He'll help.
Ashley, tell me something about Mr. Robinson.
Well, look, what I can tell you is he's played on a couple teams, but at the end of the day, this is going to be what, the 5th or 6th different line that they put out alone this season. How many weeks are we in already?
Week 5.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, that's already switching up. And it's going to be different, too, because we know that Dylan Gabriel is left-handed. So that also changes things up a little bit because, you know, Joe was right. So it's going to change everything for all of them. But at the end of the day, they needed to add to that offensive line. People are hurt. People are gone. It is what it is. They needed to find something. They needed to make something happen, you know, almost midway through the
We're
season.
still getting people from Houston. Jack Conklin, we have no clue what's going to happen with him. So we keep getting this same situation year in and year out, where we're short of linemen, or we're down to lineman number 4, lineman number 5. And I'm just not understanding, why do we find ourselves in these same situations year in and year out? Now, we got an offense that scores 12, 13, 14 points a game, and you're running out of linemen, and your quarterback's not playing well, and your receiver's not catching the ball. I still go back to the guy that picks the players, the guy that makes the calls, and the points being scored is horrible. So something's got to be wrong that we're not seeing, because this is the worst offensive football team that I think I've been around in a long time.
Yeah. The Vikings also dealing with some injuries. Carson Wentz, their quarterback now.
We got that going for us.
We got that going for us, right? And they got a lot of offensive linemen that are banged up. But I still cannot get over the fall from grace for this guy. He was the presumptive league MVP the year they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles before he got hurt with the knee injury. Came back the next year, was certainly pretty good. But, boy, has he fallen apart. And now he's a backup that usually throws a lot of picks. Like, what happened to this dude?
I don't know if it's anything like they talk about the sophomore jinx, but a sophomore jinx with an injury. That's the same thing as when you first get in the league, that first year, you catch people by surprise and you have a good year. And especially with that talent he had around him in Philadelphia, they went on to win the Super Bowl within that time. Am I right?
Yeah, Nick Foles that year, he went down.
Absolutely. So what they had around him, you didn't need to do a whole lot at quarterback, just not turn the ball over. He gets hurt, somebody takes his spot, then they end up with Jalen Hurts, and there you have it. And that's the story of so many players in the league. Missed opportunities, injuries, and all of a sudden you find yourself behind the 8 ball.
Well, you hope that if the Browns are going to be able to rattle a guy and get after a guy.
This is a rattable guy.
He's a rattable guy. This is not
good news. I mean, good news for the Browns defense, right?
You would think, right? Because on the day they're not going to score, you would hope the Vikings don't score very much either. Tailgate. We're getting through the coffee talk version of the show. Is that the River Thames? I don't know. You know what? I should probably look at that. It is the River Thames. How about that, producer Chris? Dialing it up. The Browns are over there for a European showdown with the Vikings. Up next, we're going to hear from Jim Schwartz and look at the injury report. I suppose Jack Conklin's going to come up again, Reg. Stick around. Tailgate continues.
Yeah, they probably don't get a lot of sympathy from our guys, do they? Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, injuries are a part of the game, and it's opportunity for some guys to step up and see what they can do. It's up to us to try to exploit those matchups.
The Injury Report, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
All right, so here's what we're looking at. Injury report today. Batty and Ham, questionable for the Vikings. Conklin, Newsom. Conklin got in a full practice on Friday. It'd be very surprising if he didn't play today. Jackson, Juergens, Kelly, McCarthy, O'Neal out. Tillman, Mike Hall for the Browns. But 3 of these dudes for the Vikings, offensive linemen that will not play. And you guys kind of referenced it. Man, that is like feast time for this defensive line.
If I am the backups that's going to be playing in Minnesota against this defensive front line I've got some concerns. And if I'm Carson Wentz, I got some major concerns. All that horse is coming at me all day. And that's a big deal for a football game like this.
It's amazing because, once again, on both of these teams, this game is going to come down to defense. And I feel like that's been the situation all 5 weeks.
Final score, 3-2?
Yeah, maybe I'll go 10-3.
10-3. There was,
and I don't know who.
Think of the, I think it was against Green Bay. We saw the cut up of Miles where he did the pass rush move where he seemed to like almost teleport to the left and then blew right past the tackle. And that guy wasn't a backup tackle for Minnesota. I'm trying to imagine. We're going to see a lot of stuff to the right, a lot of stuff out quick. They're going to try to do everything they can, as a lot of teams do even when they're fully healthy, to get away from 95. But I want to see what the Vikings have in store because they must have really had to go into the lab to try to figure out a way to survive this thing.
And a lot of times like this, normal teams would chip or have a back or a tight end or somebody chipping on Miles all day. The fortunate thing for our defensive line, everyone's playing well. So I don't care if Miles gets double-teamed. There's going to be someone that's going to leak through. And, again, you playing with Carson Wentz. He likes to give the ball up. So turnovers would be a big factor. I mean, I think we were at the bottom of the list, 30-31 in turnover ratio this year. That's not good. We got 1 interception. That's not good.
They got to bump those. Those are rookie numbers.
We got to
bump those
create
up.
opportunities for the offense because they'll need all the help they can get.
And Carson knows what he's getting out of Myles Garrett. He's played against him before.
How about this out of Dallas? Jaden Blue, the rookie running back out of Texas, developed blisters on his feet because he wore Louis Vuitton cleats.
Yeah, because that's just stupid. They don't make
You can't
athletic
explain
shoes.
stupid.
Why are you wearing that? Just go to Dick's and get you some, Under Armours, Nikes, or something. Why is you wearing Louis Vuitton? Who needs to see that on the field? Don't no one care about that?
You just can't explain stupid. You just simply can't.
And I hope the blisters hurt.
And what is he getting? Louis Vuitton giving him a deal? An extra bag or something like that? Man, let's time to this is your job. This is your job.
So
But
you
got
can go
Louis
and
Vuitton.
buy Louis Vuitton. Like,
Right.
come on,
I'm the
man.
first guy that wore Louis Vuittons on the field. Yep, surely are.
And you're the first one to not play because of them.
How about that?
Stupid.
Ashley, I think, has got her kids better cleats at Dick's or wherever.
Absolutely.
I know I have for my little guy than
Hey,
what
Dick's got
Louis
everything.
Vuitton.
This will follow this kid for his entire career and life.
They gotta be
Everywhere-
clowning him,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're going to call him Blister or LV. He's going to have a nickname, Mr. Blisters.
And I know that if Louis Vuitton wanted to try this out, they know now not to.
There you go.
Just go ahead and cut it off.
That'll be a fail move for them.
for
All right,
real.
here's something else to watch from our friends at the OBR. How do the Browns navigate the Brian Flores-led Vikings defense? We're going to talk about that and a little bit more Dylan Gabriel when we come back. Stick around.
I think it's funny because, I got a text from a good buddy of mine, and he sent me a picture of a fire station, and like, it's kind of like, why are you sending that, But when he sends it, he just lists the obvious, right? Like, doors are open, garage doors are open, like, things are ready to go, and like, they're just waiting on that phone call to like respond surgically. And like, just what a great representation of like the job I had and being ready for that moment. And I think, I smile because it's like a moment you prep for and you are extremely excited for, but also got to realize that it's extreme focus.
Now the Pigskin Poll, sponsored by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers.
All right, Hyundai Pigskin Poll. We do this every week. We ask a question, we put it on the news, we ask you to go vote, and you go vote. And then we talk about it. Is Dillon Gabriel the long-term answer for the Cleveland Browns? The way I phrased this on Friday, I think I speak for most of us when I say we're hoping for yes and we're thinking it's probably no, but what do you got?
Why not? How do you know? How do we know?
Technically,
we haven't really seen him play. We haven't seen all the tools around him to be taken advantage of. I mean, we've been screaming for someone to stick around here and play quarterback for a long time. I'm going to be optimistic today. I'm going to give the kid a chance to do the best he can. I'm going to put him in winning situations as a head coach. You got to be aware of Brian Flores' defense. So to me, it's going to be a chess match between Stefanski and Brian Flores because you want to get this kid seeing what he sees. You don't want him thinking one thing's up there and then they drop back in zone and all of a sudden he's throwing picks to linebackers that's sitting in the hole. So it's going to be a good chess game between the defensive coordinator of Minnesota and the offensive coach, head coach, Kevin Stefanski here.
I think, to be fair, all of the rookies have done so well in this class that I think Dillon has to live up to that, right? Like, it would be kind of crazy. Like everyone is performing at a high level, right? So you would think Dillon would come and do the same thing. But I want to see him do well, too. But if you go in what the outside world wants, I think they would say this isn't the long term. They want Shador to be the long term.
Oh, gosh,
but
yeah.
I'm sure when you look inside of the organization, it probably is they would like Dillon to be long term. I don't know if he's long term, right? I mean, if you look at people like Kyler Murray, stuff like that, they're a little bit on the shorter side and able to have a longer career. But I'm excited to see him. I think the little glimpses we've seen of him, he's been pretty accurate. Let Dylan Sampson right down there to score a touchdown.
Right. I mean, I agree with Ash. I mean, the thing is, he hasn't done anything wrong. No one can do anything about his height, but he came in. He's a third-round draft pick. He's earned this opportunity. He hasn't done anything wrong. It's just a mistake about him being short, or he's this, or he's that, or just the fact that everyone leans more to Shador getting an opportunity to play. Man, I'm going to stick with this kid until he does wrong, and then we'll slide the next guy in. But I truly believe at some time this year you'll have to see both rookies play. So if it goes 4 or 5 games and we're playing good football but not winning, then I'm going to look at the other guy. He's going to get his shot later in the year because I need to know for a fact whether or not I believe that either of these guys can carry this team, because I do not want to draft another quarterback then have a rookie and 2 second-year guys behind center next year. I need a guy that I can believe in, and I need to find that out this year. I don't want to know no all-season practices.
I mean, don't forget Deshaun Watson might make his comeback this year,
here we go.
Well, who?
Let's go to the right. The guy, he threw a few passes here once. He wasn't good. Let's go to the results. See what the folks had to say. Ding. 81% said no.
Absolutely.
Not surprising here. Now, think of it this
way. Prove them wrong, kid. Prove them wrong.
You'd love to see it. Here's the thing. Let's say and I don't think this is the case, but I'm just going to say, let's say they hit the jackpot and he is the guy. Going into next year's draft with 2 first-round picks and your quarterback already in hand, boy, does that set them up to be in a great position. They're not trending well right now, so you'd have 2 firsts and presumably a high second. And if you have that draft capital and a quarterback already in hand that you stole in the 3rd round, that's how you flip things in a hurry.
I would not be opposed to 2 offensive linemen. I would not be opposed to offensive linemen and a wide receiver.
Yep.
But that's where I would go, because that's where I think we really need it.
Oh, my gosh. A wide receiver and offensive lineman.
Yes, please.
What's going on with the receivers here?
What is going on with the receivers here?
I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think is going through Jerry Jeudy?
That's a separate segment.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
We're excited.
Ahead of myself.
We're excited.
Stick around. That's Tottenham Stadium. There's another word in there. I already forgot it. Stick around. Tailgate continues.
I'm going to consistently stay above the line and be a positive force that this whole stadium feels. I don't know what you looked like in your little Renaissance Vikings uniform as a kid, but you look pretty damn good in this one.
It wasn't this good, I can promise you that.
It didn't fit this well?
That haircut, yeah.
Let's have a blast today, man. All the confidence in the world. You're going to play great, one play at a time. I'll be with you all day, man. You're in this with me, and for me, and by me, and we're going for this fight together. The best thing about that first drive, I mean, it just feels easy. Point guard play, right? Point guard play. I'm going to get you some chunks here and there, but that was as easy as you'll ever have on 6 plays right there, and it's just because you're running the show, man. Great job.
Around the AFC, sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
That's Kevin O'Connell, up-and-coming. I don't even say up-and-coming. He's been a pretty darn good young head coach in the NFL. We're going to go around the AFC, though, and the Cincinnati Bengals are a mess. Joe Burrow down. Jake Browning, 2 years ago, was pretty good, 4-3 in relief of Joe. He has been trash this year in 2 starts. They can't move the ball. They can't score. If you saw him on Monday night, it was embarrassing. So Zach Taylor, how good of a head coach is he when you consider they don't win when he doesn't have Joe? However, Bill Belichick didn't win without Tom Brady. Bill Walsh did not win without Joe Montana.
You want them to make gold out of nothing. I mean, they don't have a quarterback. He what can he do?
Sometimes
there's a big drop from Joe Burrow to this Browning kid, and he looks not prepared. He's turned the ball over. He just doesn't look good. But how'd you like to be Cincinnati with those 2 high-paid wide receivers with no one to get the ball to them? Right. You're talking about frustrated. They are ticked off right now. They cannot have the Pro Bowl seasons they had hope for, and they're not going to win many games. But you would think, and you say this kid is a good head coach, you would think that this coach quarterback would find a way to make some kind of plays to create opportunities for his offense. When you score 3 points in the National Football League, that is trash. And if a guy's been around the league 3 or 4 years, you can't tell me he can't put a drive together to put some points on the board for his team. But we saw that here. You wouldn't think that Joe Flacco would put us in situations where we're absolutely the worst offense. You would think he would come in and keep things moving forward and make first downs. You know, obviously we missed some kicks too. So everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Right now I'm just going to say this is a good opportunity with that offensive line in Minnesota that we got a good chance of winning a football game, coming back 2-3, playing Pittsburgh, and then you get the break.
Let me ask you something, because you played with backup quarterbacks. And Browning, as I mentioned, came in a couple of years ago. Little bit of a slower start, then got it together, and they actually looked half decent, and he went 4-3. Why is it a backup quarterback can look, pretty good or usable, whatever, for one stretch of time, and then you see him a chunk of time later, and they look like hot garbage? Why can't some of these guys carry it over?
That's why he's a backup. That's exactly why he's a backup, inconsistent play. And like I said, the coach has to put him in the best situations. You may not be able to call the same offense that you would call with Joe Burrow. He may not see the same things that Joe Burrow does. He doesn't have the accuracy of Joe Burrow. He's got to settle down. And I say this all the time. Find a way to make him successful. Don't try to do the same things and throw dig routes at 18 yards. Give him some short slants. Give him some zone pass plays, a little run. And it helps when everyone else is doing something. Cincinnati doesn't run the football. So if you don't run the football, everything's on this guy, and he's shell-shocked back there. I mean, but that's all putting your team together. And all this stuff falls back on the folks putting the team together to find themselves this early in the season not being able to score points. It shouldn't happen.
They have not run. Chase Brown was expected to have a big year, and he's been very bad. They cannot run block. All right, I want to talk about Kevin O'Connell. I mentioned him as we came into this thing. He was hired in 2022. He was one of these guys. He came from the Rams, so there was that period of time where if you basically shook hands one time with Sean McVay, you were qualified to be a head coach in the NFL. This worked out for some. It hasn't worked out for others. It has worked out with this guy. He made Sam Darnold a good quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is still an unknown. But Wentz, he's had a bad game or two, but he's also had a good one. Nobody really talks about Kevin O'Connell, but it seems like he's a pretty darn good head coach.
I don't know how good he is. I don't think they've won much. I think they pooped on their pants when they were in the playoffs last year, which to me says a lot about a head coach when you get to the playoffs. How well can you advance your team?
He's 0-2 career in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've won 12, 13 games, and you get in the playoffs and you don't do well. That's still kind of the head coach's responsibilities. And I don't want to say nothing else bad about him because I don't know him well enough, but I know Minnesota hasn't really won anything in a long time. They just look good playing regular season games, which they've been doing for the last 20 years.
They've done that for a very, very, very long time. Rex Ryan sounding off on Shedeur Sanders next on the Tailgate.
We're all waiting to see this Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Now the Quick Picks, sponsored by your local Kia dealers.
Kia Quick Picks, Rex Ryan sounding off on the worldwide leader on Shedeur. Is he wrong?
There are plenty of videos out there that show that Shedeur has been in the first row of a Browns meeting. Second of all, Deion Sanders made them sit in the first row in Colorado for their team meeting. So I don't understand what that has anything to do about. 3, I've never seen Rex Ryan at practice in my life. So maybe I missed him, but I don't know where he gets to say that. 4, Shedeur is just going to get attacked for anything he does. When I asked him the question, he did the Miami thing. He's going to get attacked for that. And he literally said nothing. Granted, he didn't have to do that. He could have just declined the questions. But still, at the end of the day, me and Reggie were just talking about it. A lot of people want to see this guy play. But when Stefanski was asked about Shedeur and why he wasn't the backup quarterback, the question, literally Stefanski shut it down, said, Joe's the backup quarterback. Another question about, okay, why though? Joe's the backup quarterback. It's like he's not even saying Shedeur's name. I truly believe more and more week to week that this was Haslam's pick, and I don't believe it was Stefanski or Andrew Berry's pick. I just week to week, because how is he not ready? But everybody else is.
And in the world we're living in today, Rex Ryan needs to shut up. and be careful how he words and how he speaks to another guy, especially an ex-player's son. This kid hasn't really done anything that I see that any other rookie does. I don't even know why he got mics shoved in his face every day when he's a fifth-round draft pick and the third-string quarterback. So really it's kind of egging it on to get in front of him every day to get another story or called clickbait. But bottom line is he deserves an opportunity when it comes. They say that they don't think he's ready. Well, I don't really put a lot of trust in the people that's making that decision either. Based on what I've seen in the last 6 years from this organization, you tell me he ain't ready, prove it to me. Let him play. Then there are the other folks that keep saying how good he is and what he can do. Dylan gets a shot for 4 or 5 weeks. If he's playing well, good, we'll know what we have. And at the end, we're going to play the other guy. And that's because if he can play, he should be ready to play by then, and I need to know. And I don't need you to tell me, Coach Stefanski. I don't need Andrew Bird to tell me. And now half of the country wants this kid to play. Everyone's excited. Everyone brought his jersey.
Everyone bought his jersey.
I just want to say this one last thing. To be fair, Shador is not the same as any other low quarterback pick. And when you say Mike shoved in his face, that is why. Dion and Shador, they're in their own league, and we see why they've been in their own league. And to be fair, that day we talked to every single quarterback. Every quarterback. But did they care about it? No, they only cared about Shador. And that is why.
It's very weird, but it is what it is. By the way, the inactives are out. Shador, as he's been, the emergency quarterback, he could play if the other two guys get hurt. Nothing else here other than the offensive lineman. Lucas is inactive. Conklin is not. This would lead you to believe
he's not inactive means he's going to play.
He's going to play.
Yep.
All right.
And Cam Robinson is not inactive, the new guy they got. I've seen 3 Cleveland Browns depth charts. 2 of them have Cam Robinson as the starting left tackle. The Browns' official depth chart, at least on their website, doesn't have Cam Robinson on it at all. But I wonder if it's Cam on left and Conklin on the right today. That's the way it breaks right now. All right, when we come back, there's a little LSU connection here. Jetta Jefferson is phenomenal, and the Browns secondary has another LSU Tiger as well, Grant Delpit. We'll talk about it next.
Everybody knows he wears number 18, and, it's easy to find him.
Just, getting the ball in my hand, apparently a lot of good things happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup.
6 years, he's 4-time All-Pro.
He got a unique way in running. It's like, it's real. I can't even explain it, but it's different than Jamar. But him and Jamar, I think, they're top 2 in the league.
We can't come on this trip and be 0-2.
What? My gritty? Yeah, I mean, it's fire. It's elite. It's elite for real.
Now, who needs to deliver? Sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets, better because it has to be.
All right, I love this segment because I can actually say Jets delivery needs to be on Jetta. They call him Jetta. Justin Jefferson, he's one of the top receivers in the NFL. The Browns secondary featuring another LSU Tiger in Grant Delpit. They will have their hands full with this guy. I don't care who is quarterbacking the Vikings.
I can tell you right now, Denzel Ward has been called up to duty this year. He's playing lights-out football. So if Justin Jefferson's going to have a big day, it'll be because Denzel Ward has a down day. He's ready to play. This defense has done real well up front. You can have the best receivers on the back end, but if they get that pass rush through those 3 backup linemen, then that's tough for a guy to get that much time to create opportunities for this guy. So they'll double him sometimes, I'm sure. Denzel is capable of covering him, but you can't cover the best all day.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we get.
You also have to account for Jordan Addison as well.
Yes.
So,
and the tight end.
It's going to be a lot as well on Greg Newsome, who sometimes answers that call and sometimes doesn't pick up at all. So it's really like a 50-50. I really don't know what we're going to get from that. So it's going to be a tough one for sure.
Sometimes it goes to voicemail, is what you're suggesting.
He calls back later.
He calls back. The tight end is Hawkinson, who talent-wise, and when you factor in he's a former first-round pick, and he's been very good. Right. Wentz seems to like throwing to tight ends. Hawkinson was slow to start.
He doesn't want to throw it outside the numbers.
Yeah.
Wentz doesn't want to throw it outside the numbers. He gets hung out there, and that's where all his picks come from. So like I said, and I'll say it till the trees come home, the bottom line is you put pressure on a quarterback, he going to give it to you. And the day is a good day. If they got 3 backup linemen playing, there is no way that defensive front 4 that we have doesn't disturb everything they're trying to do.
They need to get
or somebody's wrong.
Totally. You want to see the guys. I want to see Mason Graham too. He's been doing. He's been pass rush win rate is one of the stats I can track for defensive linemen. He's been doing well there. I want to shift gears because you brought up Jerry Jeudy earlier.
Yes.
And basically the way this works, Reg, I can say the name Jerry Jeudy, and then you and I could leave the room, and Ashley Holder might blow a gasket. Way up there in dropped passes with 4 among the league leaders. This just got to stop. And you're right, Ash, doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. If the guy that's supposed to catch the ball doesn't catch the ball, doesn't help the guy throwing the ball.
And I think the thing that is wild to me, which I am not a man and I do not play professional football, so Jerry, don't come after me because he like to come after people in that locker room.
I got your back.
But the thing is, like, the drops are continuous. They're not even like they just started. They've been continuous, and they'll started before he got here. So I think that's, I'm not understanding. I'm not. But turnaround did end up last year, ending with Pro Bowl numbers, right? So it ended up working out at some point. But if you're going to drop some, you got to be able to catch some. Because there's some times where we don't see Jerry involved in the offense until like the end of the first or mid-first, or there's been 2-3 series and we haven't even seen this guy catch the ball at all.
Well, he came here to be a number 1 this year. They didn't go get someone that was going to be a number 1 on top of him. The bottom line is your job is wide receiver. Means to receive. It's that simple. He's a number 1 draft pick out of Alabama, played with Denver. He looked bad towards the end of his time in Denver. We get him here. He gives us a little spout. But the same thing, he had the league's most drops last year, and he's back at it again. When you have a team that's 1-3, and you're trying to put something together, he is a veteran. He is the leader of that receivers room. He's got to play better. It's that simple.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk ticket prices because we heard something this week that sounded a little, ugh. We'll talk about it next.
Let's go, Gabe. Let's go, Gabe. Come on, dog. Yeah! Make a tackle, yeah? Come on. Come on, fellas. Go, Jug. Go, Jug. Go, Jug. We'll take that. Come on. Let's go, fellas. Come on. 19. Come on. That's how you bounce back. That's how you bounce back. Come on. We good. Hell yeah. Come on. I ain't that Scott don't lie.
Is this thing on?
It's on.
America thought so in that first half, huh?
We back, baby.
Follow the money. Sponsored by Cardinal Credit Union.
Mike's on guys are always great. All right, so this is a quote from Jimmy Haslam to the Associated Press talking about the new building. The average ticket will be over $200 plus food and beverage. So we want fans, when they come to a game, to have a great time and say, you know, that was a lot, but it was worth it, and I want to do it again. Average ticket will be $200. So I guess that means there will be some under $200. Of course, there'll mean some over $200. But that's still, we get into the pricing of a family of four at a football game. How is that helping anybody?
You got a little parking, you got
them
a hot dog, a popcorn, and it's an expensive trip. Now, I love the way Jimmy Haslam posts the words, you enjoyed it and you want to do it again. And I'm going to be very factual here. You win, they will come. You don't.
Oh, yeah.
This is Cleveland. They will always show up. But when you win, you'll have no problems. You'll have to stop them at the door. But you got to give them a product.
But see, the thing is, when you have those new stadiums, people just want to come to see what it looks like. They want to be able to experience. So you might get that with one game. And once it's experience and they're losing, people are not going to come. Because I can tell you right now, like, the Bills will have that new stadium, next season? And I just want to go get a ticket to be able to go see what it looks like, because it looks so cool. You know, you're going to have so much things that are going to be nice in there, right? But, like, that's not going to be a long-term thing. It's just not going to be a long-term thing. And $200 is very expensive.
That's ridiculous.
Just to sit up at the top. That's probably not a lower-level bowl ticket. That's probably like a all the way at the top ticket.
So I am all for the Dome. I think it gives us a chance to play for the Final Four, potentially a Super Bowl. It opens up.
Nobody wants to go to a Super Bowl in a cold city. I keep telling you guys
Well,
that.
Detroit got one.
Yeah, but I was
They
there.
got two.
I was
Detroit got
there,
two.
and it was 8 inches of snow. Nobody could do anything outside.
I know, but I mean.
It sounds good, but nobody wants to go to a cold city.
I get that, but the league
Grant
awards
Delpit
these
said
things.
it was like Miami.
The league does award them. Minnesota gets them pretty frequently, even when they had the old lousy dome. So, and the Final Four and things like that, the national championship game, you want to see the Browns in play for.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It could be a great venue, and maybe it gets Taylor Swift here or whoever it is that comes in. At the end of the day, if the team who is the primary resident stinks, then after the luster shines off after a couple of days or a couple of years and the Super Bowl comes and goes one time, it's a nice house with a bad tenant. And I'm going to go back to the 90s, and this worked out for the, I'll call them the Indians because they were the Indians here, and I got a quick minute. When they were going to build what they called at the time Gateway, was for years the team was trash, and a lot of the critics said, make a good team first, then we'll build this building. And they said, no, we have to build the building. Mm-hmm. And they built the building, and it came at the perfect time when the club was turned a corner finally after decades of losing. And it was the perfect sweet spot of new building and awesome franchise. If the Browns can hit that sweet spot and actually get this fixed at the time that building opens, they'll have nailed it.
They also have to be able to account for all the people that will come for a Super Bowl, unlike how All-Star Weekend.
Right. You got to get it. You got to be able to get the event. That's another thing. And I'm not. We don't want to assume they will, but it puts them on this playing field. But the Browns have to get right. They know that, but at some point they got to actually stop talking about it and start doing it and fill the building whenever they get the building.
You can pack your cars up into a parking lot. If they win in football, they'll show up.
They'll show. That's exactly right. Here's what we got on 19 today, a 1 o'clock kick in Baltimore. Texans going in to play the Ravens, who do not have Lamar Jackson. They're running Cooper Rush out there. So the Ravens have problems. That's been talked about many times. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is where the Browns are today. They won't come back till it's over there, which will be in about 5 hours. Get her done today, Browns, please. For Reggie Langhorne, Ashley Holder, I'm Mark Schwab. See ya!